Welcome back to another Canine Tycoon devlog. Now today I'm going to be really excited to show off some of the progress that I've made. We'll start out by showing off some of the user interface and design that I've done in the past couple of days, and it'll take forever to load like always, but once it's done loading I will show off that we have a little money icon in the top that shows off the starting amount. We have a store icon that opens up the store. We have a button for Great Dane, Dalmatian, and Chihuahua, and a little exit button to exit the store. We'll go ahead and exit the store and then show off the start icon. And then we'll go ahead and just buy a Chihuahua real quick, show that off. Now when you buy a Chihuahua, it'll prompt you in to enter a name. So we'll enter a name, and you can see that the name is floating above the dog very nicely. We'll go ahead and buy another Chihuahua and enter in a name. And you can see that both the names are floating above. And if you select one of them, it'll pop up with a little stat menu. We'll exit out of that, select another dog, and if you press that plus button, it will come up with an option to select another dog to breed. So that's what we're going to be talking about next, is that select another dog to breed option. Now, this is the meat of the game. It's the core mechanic, is when you select one dog and then select another dog, those two dogs will breed together and create a new dog. Now, this mechanic has been eluding me for the past 3 or 4 days. I could not figure out how to do it, but I finally got it, and I'll show off in-game what it looks like, and then I'll walk through line by line with the code. So it'll take forever to load, like always, but it will start up here in just a second, and I'll show off what's going on here. So finally we get it to load, and we will select Chihuahua, enter in a name, go ahead and buy another Chihuahua, and enter in another name. Then we'll zoom in here on Jack, select him, we'll press the plus button in the bottom left, and then select Jill, and there we go, we have a brand new dog. Now the only problem here is that the new dog has the same exact name as the mother, which is not exactly the way that I want it to work. I want it so the enter name input field shows up after the dog is created, but that's something I'll figure out here later. So now we'll walk through line by line of the program that I used to do this. Now, it took me again 3 or 4 days to figure out everything that I needed here. Now, this line right here is just basically filler, for right now at least. It holds strings which will be used for the tags of the game objects to see which dog needs to be instantiated. And right below this, we have the dogs that will be instantiated, so the prefabs that are going to be loaded into the scene when the button is pressed. Below that, we have the stat canvas, which will be activated and deactivated based on the button press. And then below that, we have two bools, is selected and other selected. When is selected is true, that's when the button is pressed, or the dog is pressed, is a better way to describe it. And then other selected is true when is selected is true, the breed menu is open, and then other selected is also becomes true. Below that, we have just some debugging bools, the stat canvas activation, some more debugging code, and then right here, this is the magic. This is the 9 lines of code that made or braked the game. Now right here, we have a for each loop with the game object D in start stored dogs, and if the game object that is attached to the script does not equal the D name or the dog in the array list, then if the component dog is button dot is selected equals true, then other selected equals true. Now essentially what's going on here is if the other dog is selected, then it's true. So it's pretty basic, but it took me forever to figure out how to do it. And below here, that's basically the whole program. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more devlogs.